Hi, biologists of room 5. Nice to see you again. So you can see that I have a plant here with me today, and we're going to be biologists together to study it. But first, I want to do our biologist chant. You see, I added some pictures today to help us remember the words that we don't know. So while I'm reading, you can use the pictures to try to help you read along with me. Here's the title: Biologists here, biologists there. Biologists here, biologists there. Biologists everywhere. All biologists observing. Smart biologists wondering. Many biologists discovering. There's a magnifying glass. And cooperative biologists reporting. Here's their microphone. Biologists on the hill. Biologists in the garden. Biologists on the playground. And biologists in the community. Biologists here, biologists there. Biologists everywhere. Biologists. Okay, so to study this plant, we will be observing, we'll be wondering, we'll be discovering, and we will be doing some reporting. We won't be talking in a microphone to report today. We will be reporting, or you could say recording. I'm going to draw a picture of what we observe on this plant. When this picture's done, I will take a photograph of it and I'll put it in our Google Classroom, because then I'd like you to make a similar drawing in your notebook, or if you made a science journal, that'd be great. And if you have a different plant at your house that you'd like to do a picture of, some of you might have already done that with Miss Maddie. You could go to that picture, and then today you could add the labels that I have. Okay, so let's study the different parts of this plant. This is a tomato plant. So right away you can probably see it's already pretty big. It's growing a lot. This middle part here is the stem. And then there's some other stems that go to the side. The job of the stem is to bring up from the soil where let's start actually down there, where the roots are. So you cannot see the roots. The roots are underground. The roots are all in here, and they're sucking up the water and the vitamins that are in the soil to bring it to the plant. But the roots are down here. So the roots suck it up. Then it's the job of the stem to bring the water and the vitamins to all the other parts of the plant. Then there's the leaves. There's a lot of leaves on tomato plants, and they kind of have like jagged edges. Some leaves have smooth, kind of like circular edges, but these are more jagged and pointy. And the leaves is another way that the plant gets food. Plants are amazing because they can make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. And that's the job of the leaves. The leaves kind of put their leaf out and they suck up sunlight. And when they do that, the sunlight helps them to make their food in photosynthesis. So that's the job of the leaf, the job of the stem, the job of the roots. And then you can see that there's some yellow flowers here. Wherever there's a yellow flower is where a tomato will actually be. So that's important because inside a tomato, does anyone know, what do you find inside of a tomato? A lot of little seeds, right? So the flower shows where the tomato fruit will be. And the fruit is so important because that's where the seeds are. That's how the plant makes more of itself. So each part of a plant does an important job to help keep this plant alive, to help the plant to survive. So let's draw that. I'm going to start with a green. If you only have a pen or a pencil, that's okay. It doesn't have to be in color. But if you have the colors, it makes it look more scientific. So I'm going to draw a green stem, and then there was some other stems, so I'll draw those. And I guess I can keep green for the leaves. So I'm going to kind of make them jagged, like the plant looks like. I'll do my best, but I also know it's okay if it doesn't look exactly the same. Still practicing my illustrating. Okay, so I see the stems and the leaves. I'm not going to do a ton of leaves right now because I want to leave room for my words, but the yellow flower is a very important part. So I'm going to add some of those flowers. Let's see, I'll do one here, and I'm going to do one here. I counted 3, so I'll find a spot to do 3. Those flowers have will have the fruits that will have the seeds to make more of the plant if they don't all get eaten. And then down here, we didn't really get to see the roots, but we know that the roots are underground. They're attached to the plant. And there's a lot of roots in a plant. The roots also hold the plant down so that if the wind blows, the plant can't just blow away. The roots keep it in place, and then they stay in the soil to suck up any water or vitamins that are in the soil. So now I'm going to pick a different color to write my labels. I should probably say what kind of plant this is. May. Toe. Kind of a funny word, tomato. Then I'll carefully draw a line. Flowers. Flowers. Flow. Flowers. Let's see, I think I could put leaves over here. Leaves. Leaves is just one syllable. Leaves. I've got flowers, I got leaves. I need to do stem. Stem. One syllable. And roots. Ooh. What says ooh? 2 O's. Roots. So now I've been a biologist taking precise notes about what's growing at my house. Okay, we have actually 2 more things that I want to do. So I have been doing an experiment at my house for like a week, and I finally was ready to show you today, and I woke up this morning and I saw something crazy had happened. Look at this celery. It's all flopped over. And I've had it in this jar of food coloring because it's just water and blue food coloring, because I wanted to show you how the stem really sucks up water and takes it all the way to the top of the plant. See how the top of this plant is blue? It sucked up the blue water and carried it all the way to the top. But look, it sucked up so much water that it kind of like is not stiff anymore. It's flopped over, and it's also not healthy because it drank all that food coloring. But you can see all the way at the top of the plant, it got to be blue because the stem is carrying that up. So if you have food coloring at home and you wanted to buy some celery, you could do the same thing. I put the bottom in the blue food coloring, and then I watched it day after day, and the blue slowly went all the way up to the top. So you could do that experiment at home if you can get some celery and have blue food coloring. Okay, so the last thing I want to do, thinking about what plants need to survive, I have a sign that says yes, and I have a sign that says no. So here's the game we're going to play. If I show you a picture of something you think a plant needs to survive, point to yes. If you think it is not something that a plant does not need to survive, point to no. Okay? Let's see if I have enough arms to do all of this. Okay, the first thing, air. Does a plant need air to survive? Yes. All living things need air to survive, and plants take the air that we breathe out and they clean it and make new air for us to breathe in. Does a plant need an apple to survive? No, plants don't eat apples. Trees don't eat apples, they make them. Yes or no, does a plant need sunlight to survive? Yes, almost all plants need sunlight to survive, to stay alive. Does a plant need rainbows to stay alive? No, maybe they think they're pretty, but they don't need it to stay alive. Does a plant need soil to stay alive? Remember, soil is a fancy word for what? Dirt. Yes. Again, this is just like sunlight. There are some extreme plants that can be at the bottom of the ocean where there's not very much light. Not all plants need soil, but almost all of them do. Does a plant need a cookie to stay alive? No, that's not the plant's food. Does a plant need water to stay alive? Yes, plants need water to stay alive. Does a plant need a caterpillar to stay alive? This is a tricky one because we've learned that butterflies and other animals can be pollinators, but they can survive without them, but they really are very helpful. Does a plant need cheese to survive? No, that's not plant food. Does a plant need a bird to survive? No. Most plants need sunlight, air, food, and water, and they either get their food sucking it up through the soil or making their own food through photosynthesis in their leaves. All right, I just wanted to make sure we covered everything for science today. So the other thing that I'd like you to do is do that picture of a plant with labels. Thank you.